Okay, today we're going to touch on doing basic editing using Windows Movie Maker. You can see here I've already got a Movie Maker project that's open. I've added a video clip that has its own audio file into the storyboard. Now we're going to change this over to a timeline view so we can turn around and see a little better what we're looking at as a video size. Timeline view also allows us to get a finer control for trimming video down inside of a couple of seconds. Zoom in a little bit so we can see a little easier the entire video. We can also expand the video so we can see the separate video file as well as the audio file. Both files can be worked with independently inside of this view. Now, by right-clicking on the audio file, we have a couple of different options. We can deal with fade-ins, fade-outs, and volume. Here we're going to take the volume down a little bit. You never want a video clip's audio to boom at you once you start the video. And once any changes are made, you can preview what's going on inside of the small preview window in the software. Keep in mind that it takes a couple of minutes sometimes, depending on your PC and how much power you have for processing, to see the changes. Now, the other thing inside of the timeline view is that we can scroll across to look at a specific point. Underneath the preview window, you can see there's a button marked for split. Once we've dragged across to a specific time point and we split the clip, it makes it easier to be able to work with individual small sections versus one large file. It takes the PC a lot less time to process one small bit. You can see now that the changes that we made earlier to the audio file on the video clip are processing a lot quicker than what it was when it was one large file. We can also scroll ahead and you can watch as the cursor comes across on the timeline. Even though we split the file into two separate files, it still plays as one. The audio track still follows as one. The nice thing with splitting a video into smaller sections is you can drag and drop and trim little bits out. If there are pieces that you don't like because of lighting or because you were moving the camera around or something caused an interruption, you can trim those little bits and pieces out without having to re-edit over and over again a large file chunk. And again, it takes the PC a couple of seconds to be able to process the changes that you've turned around and made. But you'll be able to see the changes too on the timeline as you drag the cursor back and forth across. The other thing with splitting a video into smaller chunks is that you can remove the individual chunks. You don't have to turn around and remove the entire file or trim everything down just to be able to get to one section. And you can see here when we right click, we can turn around and remove just the one clip. Let's put that back for a second. Or we can right click on it and just be able to modify the audio for that one section. Here we're going to slide the volume all the way down, and you can see once we hit OK that the waveform inside of that audio track is gone. So effectively that audio piece for the video file has been muted out. Let's go ahead and reset the video clip here. Now you can also mute the entire audio across the project and overlay MP3 files, WAV files, whatever you'd like. And these are all separately editable from the video clip. You can drag and drop them into different spots for wherever you want them to start at. Click and drag to be able to edit them for just small sections. Now, the audio file that I added here isn't large enough to cover the entire video clip. So just drag a second one down. We're going to line it up here. Now you can see that I have more audio than what I have for video. So we're going to go to the end, drag this back down, and you'll see once it gets to a point that the audio lines up with the end of the video, the cursor goes to a thick green. Now, one thing to keep in mind is to fade your audio in and out sometimes. Again, you never want when a video starts up for it to just blast at you with audio, and you don't want it to just abruptly stop. You want it to taper a little bit. By right-clicking on the audio files and doing a fade in and fade out, the software will automatically place those fades at the beginning of the audio track that you're working with, at the end of the audio track that you're working with. It does everything for you. And when we right-click on the video clip itself, we have a couple options for effects, fade in and fade out as well. Here we're going to add a fade in, and you can see that it has a check mark on it now because we've added that to the file, and we're also going to add a fade out. And again, the software turns around and automatically places that at the beginning and at the end of the video clip. And when you preview it, you'll turn around and see a 2 to 3 second slow fade from dark black into the video clip. Now you'll notice when we change back to the storyboard that all we're seeing is the video clip that I added, and we can drag and drop more down. Playing with the timeline though is always going to be your easiest option for doing small trims. You can also turn around and add title overlays, credits at the beginning or at the end of a clip, saying what the clip is, saying thank you for your support, whatever the case may be. You can turn around and do transitions, where you're transitioning from one clip into the next by doing a slight fade or a dissolve. We've all seen that in movies before. You can also add effects. Effects are great if you're going to be working with a clip that you want to give it something special. Maybe you want it to look like an old film, or you want to change it to black and white. Your preview window is always going to let you see what you're adding in though, and you get it in real time. You can also use the drag bar to be able to scroll across to small sections instead of having to watch the entire thing back and forth. I hope this has been some good tips for you, and as always, if you have any questions, feel free to catch me in chat.